Hello, welcome to our spring concert. There are always lots of fun things that go into this concert, and sometimes there aren't quite enough people for all of the things. But we've got it, we're here for you. We're going to start with 6th grade band playing Firework, which you might know. It's a song that Katy Perry did a few years back that got her pretty high in the charts. February, there's a line that says normal house setting. You want to go out there? You're wonderful and lovely. You're all wonderful and lovely. So in February, January. When did we do February. We did solo and ensemble. And some of these students either performed in ensembles or did solos for judges at Twin Lakes High School in Monticello. These students then earn a score based on how they played. They get a medal, gold, silver, bronze, or a participation ribbon. And I would like at this time to recognize all of the students who participated in that. So if you were in solo and ensemble, have to stand up. to get up there and do that. Our next piece is the one that we voted on. They decided they wanted Jurassic Park. Hey, I'm okay with that. It's been challenging to put together, but we've done, I think, a pretty good job. And I told them, remember what happens when they don't pay attention in the movie Jurassic Park? Make sure you pay attention here, because we're playing for the audience now. So, hopefully, we're all safe. Dynamics. All right, so you might remember these kids as the Jingle Bells kids last time around. The kids that when you first signed them up for band, you thought, why am I doing this? But I hope that you've seen how much they've grown throughout this year, because 6th grade is tough for band. It's really tough. They go from nothing to, hey, here's some music that everybody knows what it sounds like, so don't screw it up, okay, thanks. And they do it very well, I think. Our last piece is Mickey Mouse March. Now the fun thing about this is I hand it out and they're like, is this that hot diggity dog thing? Because they're thinking Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. So then I'm like, let's watch this black and white video, because this is actually Mickey Mouse Club. So hopefully maybe this will be a blast from the past for some of you. Maybe some of you are just now realizing there's a thing that's not Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. You should check it out. transition to the 7th and 8th grade band. And we're going to start with I Got a Feeling by the Black Eyed Peas. Thank you. That one was very challenging to put together. Lots of syncopation, very difficult rhythms, but I think we did all right. Before we do our next piece, I would like to recognize the students in this group who did solo and ensemble this year. Please stand if you did. Another thing, before we play our next one, is that sometimes people are wondering, why did I have to pay money just to see my kid play? Well, hopefully this will help you. We purchased Jurassic Park, we purchased Party Rock Anthem, which will be our last piece that we do, with the money that we get from you guys. We do cheese and sausage fundraisers. That one just got finished, right? Everybody delivered all their stuff? Yay. It's a lot easier than the frozen ones though, right? So we use this stuff to get stuff for your kids. That's why you didn't have to buy them a nice outfit. You didn't have to go buy them something to wear tonight. That's why we can keep instruments in pretty decent shape, because instruments that aren't in good shape aren't going to sound good no matter who's playing it. But what we really, really need, I sound like a telethon. What we really need is people. And I know it's hard to say, well, yeah, I'll be part of that, because who's got time in their schedule that's not already full but they actually want to fill? It doesn't take that much though. On the back of the program you can see we have meetings once a week, once a month, once a month. Right now we're holding them on Wednesdays. That can change if it needs to change. And our next meeting for the Winamac Music Boosters will be on Wednesday, May 8th, I think. Not this Wednesday, but the following one, there. And we are going to be having officer elections. So, here's the thing. If your kid up here is wearing a dress that is too long for them, that's because we didn't have enough people to help hem the dresses. If your child is playing an instrument that is falling apart, I'm excited that the bass drum is still on its stand though. That's because we only have so much money we can spend from the school. They've got all kinds of stuff to pay for. We've got the Moon Crater booth in the summer. We need help with that. You don't have to be in charge of the whole thing. That's okay. You don't have to come in and hem every single dress. But if we've got only 3 people who will come and hem the dresses, not everybody's dress gets hemmed. Now, we cannot do this without music boosters. We can't. Like, it would be impossible. We are not, Mr. Shetra and I are not allowed to collect the kind of money that the music boosters collect. So we couldn't do this. Our current booster officers are retiring. We need people who are going to come in and help. Even if you don't want to run for office, come in and vote, because we have tens of thousands of dollars, definitely thousands, over 10,000, that is available to us that all of you who've never gone to a meeting don't have any say in how we spend it. If I were you, that would make me kind of uncomfortable, right? Maybe, hopefully. We'd like to see lots of you at the meeting. Again, that is next Wednesday. It is at 6 p.m. in the band room. Now our next piece is just, oh yeah, in the program it's wrong because I'm not good at things. The program says it's Viva la Vida. It's not. It is Just Give Me a Reason by Pink and that one guy, Nate something or other from Fun. Ruiz. It's a really pretty song, and they're trying to decide if they should get back together or not, or stay together or not. And so we've got a lot of sweet tone back and forth stuff between the instrument families, but not between the kids. that I have really enjoyed rehearsing with your kids this year. They've been a lot of fun. There have been days, of course, and I know that there have been days, especially as we get closer to the concert, that it's hard for them to work with me, right? But overall, I think we have a pretty decent time, a pretty good time. And I just want to thank you guys for raising kids like this and letting me borrow them. Our last piece is Party Rock Anthem, so let's rock out. Now we'll have another short transition while the choir gets set up and the microphone is taken away from me.
Welcome to the WCMS Middle School Choir portion of the concert. This evening, I want to start out by talking to you for a moment about this last semester. During each semester, we have certain goals, of course, in each and every classroom. And one of the things, hang on a second. There we go. One of the things that we worked very hard on this semester was trying to develop a better overall choral sound, which of course is a goal of any choir, but specifically for the maturity of our voices. For instance, we are a mix of 7th and 8th graders. However, we have a tremendously high number. 8th graders, please raise your hand. Of 8th graders, as you can see. And so with this, this number of 8th graders, we had a great opportunity to seize this last semester in having 8th graders help the 7th graders with the development of a true beautiful choral sound. Proper shaped vowels, proper enunciation, so on and so forth. And so they have seized that opportunity. One of the things that we do in second semester that also is tremendously beneficial, I know that several students have participated at the elementary level before, as well as at the middle school level, and now we even have a high school level. The Indiana Music Educators Association sponsors something called Circle the State with Song, which actually began here at Winamac under Mr. Krasner years ago. It was one of the things that was a brainchild of Mr. Krasner, along with some other people in the state, that decided that we were going to initiate a festival that allowed for students all around the state of Indiana to get together in certain regions and perform literature that was challenging together and have a guest clinician. Can you raise your hand, please, if you participated this year in Circle the State with Song? Let's give these students a very good recognition. They learned a tremendous amount at Circle the State with Song, and were able to bring that knowledge back, and share. Also, this year, for one of the first times in a long time, the kids came back from Circle the State with Song liking the music more. Some years hear students say, I never want to see that song again. You know, some of them are very challenging, some of them just don't happen to resonate with the students. This year, it seemed like almost every song they embraced and they enjoyed. And so I decided at that time to take the opportunity to utilize some of our Circle the State with Song music to students who had not been at Circle the State with Song, so that they would be able to share not only the same beautiful literature, but also some of the challenges. And the thing that was just pinpoint perfect this year is that two of the selections this evening that were used at Circle the State specifically looked at the things that we had set as goals in creating a beautiful choral sound. And the funny part about it is that we were going to do another selection for you this evening that was our easy song. We usually tend to have one that's maybe a little easier and two more challenging. They preferred working on the challenging ones. Which thrilled me, surprised me, but they liked them so much that the easy song was kind of like, let's not work on that one, let's work on these others. We liked these. And the great part about it is, when you actually as a teacher see someone like something that's good for them and is challenging for them, it has made for a great semester. And so I hope that you will enjoy. Our first selection is one of the songs that is from Circle the State. It is called The Turtle Dove. And this is one of the songs that it speaks a beautiful love story and of course the analogy of the love of a turtle dove and so on. Just absolutely so beautiful as a story and text, but even more so very challenging to create beautiful three-part harmony. When you are a middle school student, your voice is still developing. And one of the things that I've had people say to me before is, you know, man, that has to be a challenging age to work with students because of voice cracks, or one day you're a soprano and the next day you're an alto, or whatever. You might have those inconsistencies and you might have those challenges, but when you are able to introduce students to beautiful three-part harmony and have them create that harmony, that's an exciting atmosphere for a classroom. And so I hope that we will be able to bring that excitement to you tonight, with our focus being on the things that we know we're focusing on, correct? No pressure. So this is The Turtle Dove. gorgeous harmonies. And of course, one of the things that we try to encourage with the 7th and 8th grade students especially is the idea that, hey, you can get out and you can perform and show what your individual voice is showcased to be able to do. I was very happy that during the fall semester, when we had such a small number of students that said, yes, I'd like to try a solo, I'd like to audition for a solo, that now in the spring when I asked it, we had too many to put even on one concert that auditioned and said, I want to do this, and came out doing a very good job of improving. So we're going to have to spread those out over some other events, but we did choose 3. We're going to begin with Lauren Friedel. And Lauren is going to be singing a selection called You're a Grand Old Flag. Now, it seems like a song that many people today kind of overlook sometimes and say, oh, that's such an old song, that's like a century old. I know when Lauren saw that it was from the Big Book of Nostalgia, which is what it's called, the initial look on her face was, oh boy, I get an old song. But number one, her beautiful voice does a tremendous job with this song. And secondly, it's a great way to introduce the students to some literature that might not be specifically contemporary. Patriotic music is not something that we have an abundance of in the modern world today that is constantly being reissued. We hear a lot of the old songs that we grew up with. Those of you that were children of the 80s, you remember Born in the USA, I'm Proud to be an American, so on and so forth. You remember those, but we don't have like every year one of these songs coming out that is the new patriotic song. But 100 years ago, you had more than one song per year, and they all came from the same guy, George M. Cohan, a man who very proudly used to say he was, and he really was, born on the 4th of July. And he let everybody know that, not only by bragging about it, but also by making sure that all of his literature specifically gave glory to the country that he lives in. And this is You're a Grand Old Flag by George M. Cohan. Historical context is extremely important when students are singing solos. Where did the song come from? What was happening in the world at the time that this song was written, or what was happening in the world at the time in which the song is trying to portray a certain emotion? The next song comes from a Broadway musical entitled The Civil War. And the title of the song is Missing You, sometimes also labeled as My Bill. Nina Martin is going to be our soloist, if she'll come on down. And Nina, I think, really enjoyed this song because as we worked on it, we tried to think a little bit together, as did all of the students, about how tough this song song's emotions are to deal with. What a typical woman in the Civil War would have been feeling when she looks at her life when her husband has gone to war. What's left? Now she is the head of the house. Now she must make sure that the fence gets tended to, that the crops are handled. And she sees her children growing up and their father's off at service. And it's a tough thing for her. This song kind of allows you to journey back to the 1860s, yet it can apply to today, how difficult it is when our servicemen and women are gone from their families, but yet doing something that is a higher call. And that is what this song is about, Missing You, My Bill. Our next soloist is Jessica Hoffman. And every time that I hear this song, it used to be that students would always say, "Oh, I love that musical, I love that song, and then for years it went out of vogue for a while, it seemed like, and no students ever really looked at it or picked it, and Jessica knew right away what the song was and what she wanted to sing. She was positive that this was the song for her, and I think it really was her song, but for me, every time I hear it, I immediately go back because, let's see, 35 years ago, it was my first musical ever. And so, I still remember my line, "Yes, Mr. Warbucks." That's all I had to say. I had to hold a painting and say, "Yes, Mr. Warbucks." But I have to say that there's a little bit of my heart that rests with the musical Annie, just because it was my first one, and I think anybody that has ever been in a play or a band or a choir, any of the arts in any way, the first time you do something and you're bitten by that performance bug, it just is always with you and it comes back to mind. And so lots of thoughts are going through my head as Jessica performs this song that are all wonderful memories, and hopefully this will create a wonderful memory for her tomorrow. One of the things that we are focusing on in high school choir right now is Songs of Inspiration. Our high school concert will be Thursday evening at 7 p.m. For those of you that would like to attend. And while we were working on this theme for high school of songs that inspire people in some way, this song just kept jumping out for middle schoolers to be able to perform for you. First and foremost, I don't think there was not a student that screamed at the top of their lungs when we announced that they were going to sing this for a concert. Because one of the hottest musicals that has occurred in the last couple of years was a movie musical called The Greatest Showman. And many people, I hear the gasp, sorry. Many people have fallen in love with the music to The Greatest Showman. It has a gorgeous soundtrack. I think the other day while I was in Tippecanoe Mall, 4 stores I counted were playing this song as I walked through. And so it's definitely very popular right now. But besides being popular, it just has unique qualities to it. To a musician, you look at some of the unique things that are happening musically in Broadway musicals right now, and there are things that haven't been done before. There are rhythms, there are patterns, there are harmonies, there are styles that just haven't really been explored in musicals before, and to bring that literature to the choral setting for middle schoolers and high schoolers is a great opportunity to marry their passion together for something that they enjoy watching and music that they enjoy listening to and learning as well. Before we perform this very inspirational song called This Is Me, I would like to take a moment to thank some people. First of all, I know Ms. Sutton already has talked to you about the music boosters. Could we please have a round of applause for all the music boosters? They do a tremendous amount to support us. We hope that you will consider joining the organization, because if you really think about it, we're all music boosters, or we wouldn't be here tonight. Talking about supporting us, I would also like to acknowledge our superintendent and principal, Mr. Dan Foster and Mr. Ryan Dickinson. Their support, not only of the arts, but of every program here at the school, is absolutely stellar. I have some cousins that work in another school corporation, and at our family reunion, the teachers all get together and we compare notes. It's just, I guess, what teachers do. So what's happening in your school? What kind of things happen differently with regulations or rules this year, and so on and so forth. And the thing that again and again and again that I can always say with full heart is we have a very supportive administration, not only of the arts but of everything. So we thank them for that. I'd also like to acknowledge my page turner. This is my cadet teacher, Adrian Huizar. In addition, could I have all of the band students and choir students please give a round of applause to your parents for their support. We all appreciate you getting the students here on time, making sure that they have the things that they need to have, making sure that schedules work properly so that they can be at these events. And the last thing that I wanted to mention before we sing is that your continued support is very needed, and we thank you so much for that continued support. Thank you for the opportunity, not just this year, but all the time, to be able to work with such talented students here at Winamac Community Middle School. So at this time, we have an ensemble that begins this song. They're going to move just a hair, there we go, forward. And they are going to be a special ensemble for the beginning of this song. This song speaks volumes to the self-esteem and to the morality of each individual student in an era in which that sometimes it becomes the norm, unfortunately, to poke fun at things, whether it be through comments or whatever else. This song cuts to the quick of saying, this is who I am, and I am proud to be who I am, and I want to share that with other people.
Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, they wanna love you as you are, but you won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't
Concert 2019. Again, we thank you for your continued support, and we look forward to seeing you all at the Moon Crater booth and the next Music Booster meeting. Thank you.